Think about the strongest person you know, the one who stays calm when everything else is falling apart. We often look at them and assume they possess a genetic gift, or that they simply don't feel stress the way the rest of us do. Attributing mental toughness to biology provides a convenient excuse to remain passive. If strength is a lottery you didn't win, you're granted permission to stay stuck, reacting to life's chaos as a victim instead of an architect. We can decode the mechanics of this strength through a concept developed by Nassim Nicholas Taleb. He calls it anti-fragility, and it describes a state that goes far beyond basic resilience. Fragile things shatter under pressure. Resilient things absorb the shock and return to their original state. But an anti-fragile system actually requires stress, volatility, and disorder to grow. Without pressure, the system weakens. Mental strength functions as an active, anti-fragile operating system. It is a framework built to navigate a world that is, by its very nature, unpredictable. An anti-fragile mind processes psychological shocks without letting them settle into a permanent identity. It treats setbacks as data points, which requires a complete rejection of the self-pity trap. During his time in Nazi concentration camps, psychiatrist Viktor Frankl identified the ultimate human pivot point, the space between a traumatic stimulus and our chosen response. He realized that even when stripped of everything, we retain the power to choose how we react. The Stoic philosophers, like the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, turned this choice into a rigorous discipline. Their method involved a strict division of every input in the world into two distinct categories. This diagram illustrates the sphere of control. The inner circle contains the few things you can directly influence: your actions, your words, and your mindset. The outer circle contains the infinite variables you cannot: the economy, random events, and the behavior of others. Every minute spent obsessing over the outer circle siphons power away from your central mental battery. Fixating on things you cannot change leads directly to the decision paralysis and anxiety that characterizes a fragile mind. By cutting power to uncontrollable factors, you reserve your energy capacity for the areas where you can actually adapt and solve problems. Fragile systems hide from volatility, but an anti-fragile mind treats change as a signal that new opportunities are forming, using environmental shifts as fuel for advancement. This isn't a call for reckless chaos. Embracing change requires the systematic execution of calculated risks, where the potential upside is weighed against a clearly defined downside. Before launching Amazon, Jeff Bezos evaluated the risk of leaving his career using the regret minimization framework. It provided a logical tool to determine if a terrifying leap was worth the potential for failure. The logic requires projecting yourself forward to age 80. From that perspective, you look back at the present-day decision and ask if you would regret not trying it. This shift in perspective strips the immediate fear away from the choice. Assessing the worst-case scenario often reveals that the floor of failure is survivable. You can find another job, you can rebuild your savings. In contrast, the ceiling of success is massive and uncapped, making the risk a logical necessity. The greatest danger in life is not the possibility of failing at a smart risk. It is the high probability of reaching the end of your life and realizing you spent it entirely within a safe, unfulfilling comfort zone. An anti-fragile mind must also thrive within its social ecosystem. This requires balancing deep kindness with the enforcement of uncompromising personal boundaries. True strength enables generosity because it doesn't view others as a threat. However, it also requires the courage to speak up clearly when boundaries are crossed, rather than letting resentment build. Social comparison theory suggests we are instinctually wired to view the success of others as a threat to our own standing. Left unchecked, this instinct turns every peer's achievement into a source of envy. This diagram shows the zero-sum illusion. We subconsciously believe that success is a fixed pie, that if another person takes a larger slice, there is inevitably less left for us. The anti-fragile response shatters that illusion. Another person's win is actionable proof that the market exists and the goal is achievable. Their success becomes evidence you can use to accelerate your own growth. Replacing envy with inspiration turns external achievements into free fuel. It creates a magnetic field of opportunity where you leverage the growth of the entire system to pull yourself upward. Mental strength compounds through daily, deliberate decisions. It is a discipline that must be practiced consistently to remain effective. You will still feel fear, envy, and self-pity. These are biological responses that cannot be erased. The goal isn't to stop feeling these emotions, but to change how you respond to them. Every time you choose courage or reframe a jealous thought, you are performing a repetition in the mental gym. You are physically training your system to thrive under tension, rather than break beneath it. The world will remain unpredictable and chaotic, but you have total control over the architecture of your response. Choose one practice today and begin building